So we're talking hustle mentality.
If you don't have that, you have to just do it in small steps. You might be able to organize small things to give yourself a starting point. Once you reach like your first smaller goal, then you set another smaller goal. And then you reach that goal. And then, maybe it gets easier and easier once you understand that the process is really in your willingness to not stop. It's not necessarily in like the results that you're getting.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Realest People in Real Estate podcast, where we talk about the real shit and not about real estate. I'm one of your hosts, Brooke Jones, aka the Millennial Agent.
Hey guys, it's your girl Tyra Nicole.
And I am Nicole Pay, and today we are here with our business partner and friend celebrating the publishing of his book, Branding for Beginners. He is the CEO of Robert Courtney and Associates, RCA social media marketing and branding company. We're so happy to have you, business partner and friend.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the podcast.
Welcome back. Yes.
Season 2.
Both of you guys. Welcome back to the podcast.
Yes, I am back too, and I'm here, and we're gonna do this. So, Congratulations.
Thank you.
This is amazing.
I never feel comfortable accepting congratulations. I am so proud of myself for this book. Like, you guys have absolutely no idea how hard. It's like going to college and graduating. Like, that's what this book feels like. And so I know Tyra has kind of experienced it a little bit. But this is a labor of love, sweat, tears, tragedies.
Years of...
Yeah.
How many years? Like, how long did it take?
That's what I was just going to ask. Like, take us back. Like, so I remember the first Branding for Beginners. Like, take us back to what year did this all come to?
And how did it start?
Like, where were we? I want to say, what was the year? Like
2016.
I was going to say 15, but okay.
Yeah. So 2016, we hosted the first Branding for Beginners. Actually, so Robert Courtney and Associates at the very beginning was called Brand Your Business. Nobody knows. I don't think anybody knows this.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know. Did we even know that? Did you know that, babe? Oh, of course you knew that. But
yeah, so
I didn't know that.
So Robert Courtney LLC existed. I had to create that because Oxywater needed us to create an LLC in order to do the contract. And so I created that spur of the moment, no thought. And then we did that contract for close to a year. And then I realized, like, hey, we have something. Like, this could be like a successful business. So the next step was, all right, we have to create an actual name. Like, we're going to do a Facebook page. We're going to do an Instagram page. Like, we have to come up with a name that we're going to put out there. And so I was racking my brain trying to figure out what we're going to call it. And the first thing that came to mind was Brand Your Business. And then I kind of like still to this day, it was simple. It's exactly what we do. And it was like, all right, let's do that. And then as we begin to use that name, it kind of turned into, in order to really speed things up, it need to be attached to a person. Like, this is when business was shifting to like personal branding and
social media.
Yeah, like social media growth happened faster when it was attached to a person versus it being more like generic. And so immediately when I switched to Robert Courtney and Associates, I feel like business just immediately picked up, and I was suffering from a little bit of what do you call that? We were just talking about this.
Imposter syndrome?
Imposter syndrome. Yes, thank you. I was suffering from a little bit of imposter syndrome because you got to think, this is 2016, and I'm basically painting myself as a branding expert. I've only been doing this for a couple of years from a social media standpoint. I had the business since 2007. And then I started the clothing line in 2008, 2009. So I had some experience under my belt, but I wasn't consulting people on building brands or I did my company, but I didn't feel like I was an expert, And so at the same time, I had a lot of people asking me questions about what we did for Unique. How did we grow on social media? Like, it was a lot of inquiries about how our services can be used, but then there was a lot of people who would waste our time. And then it was a struggle because I was a one-man show back then it's like I can't balance having appointments that don't turn into anything. Like I have to figure out a way to manage my time better. And so the idea was, instead of doing these one-on-one consults every day, 5, 6, 7 consults, and nobody end up turning into a client, I'm going to put everybody in the same room at the same time and have a conversation with all these people at once. And then from that point, decide like who's serious and who's not serious. So that was really the fire, or the idea that kind of lit the flame. And
so I
it was on
like,
ever since.
Because, you know, we've been here like for the beginning of all this. I feel like the April of 2017, and the only reason I remember that is because we had our baby like 2 weeks later. But the April 2017 when we were at the rec center, like I feel like that was that branding for beginners that was the foundation that ultimately set off to be huge. Like that was probably one of the best branding for beginners to start off with. So looking back at that, and that's just me personally being involved in it. Like I specifically remember how epic that one was, because of the event space we were in, and that it was a sold out crowd, and it was such a fire and an energetic feeling. From 2017, how has the platform, I don't want to say like rose every year, but like every year it's just gotten better. But for me, that year stands out to be a pivotal, you know, branding for beginners. So every year, how do you keep
leveling
bringing
up?
the heat?
So this is, I want to use this conversation to tap into a lot of things. Like, we don't have to stay on the book, because I think this book is a representation of so many different principles that we all believe in, and I think people can be inspired by and use for their own journey. But so each branding for beginners, when I started, there was really no formula. And so I would think through what is the things that I believe in that I feel every business owner needs, and that would kind of be the theme. So like the first one was just get started. Branding for beginners, just get started. And the next one that you're talking about was branding for beginners, find your passion.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe that's why it resonates with me.
And so everyone was like, okay, if it's find your passion, I need to find people who I feel can showcase energy and passion for whatever it is that they do. So I found like fiery people. And so that's why you felt energy in that particular one. But energy is a great topic, and I feel like it's something that we need to spend a couple minutes on, because just recently, like over the last like year, I have shifted all of my thought process from business direction to principles that create the business direction and success. And I feel like energy is at the top of the list.
Absolutely.
From coaching like kids, to my own kids, to our team, friends and family. Like, you guys, I don't know if you've noticed, but like, we're not talking about businesses much anymore. We're doing team building. We're learning about, like, because these things to me are the foundation of successful business people. Like, they have skills, but the skills account for maybe 10%, 20%. The rest of it is, how passionate are you? How much energy do you show up with every day? How consistent are you? How many reps are you willing to put into the thing that you love? Like, these are the true skill sets that we got to learn to master.
I mean, our kids are reading the 4 Agreements. Like, we have, like, ever since, and that's just energy. Like, when he takes our daughter to school, we talk about the 4 Agreements with Zoe, and she recites them to him, and it's like been impacted just within our 100%. Family. We're using it with Avery, our 6-year-old. We've given it to our older 17-year-old. Like, that has
think about those
really,
lessons,
really
though.
impacted
like,
our
how
family.
How fundamental. Always do your best. Like, it's so simple, but it's so fundamental, because like, how many days do we not have the energy to do our best? Right? Or
absolutely.
You know, it's in those moments when your child is an adult and she's having a rough day, but her truth is, it don't matter, I have to always do my best because this is what has been instilled. She still shows up better than probably 80% of everybody else, because her truth is that it don't matter.
Yep.
Like, you always have to do your best, you know, and like, to me, like, that's where success really actually lies.
Yeah, I never thought that one. I mean, the book is, we've read it. I think I bought 5 copies for our house.
Wow.
And we passed them out, like, to our family
That's
and stuff like
amazing.
that. And we have the audio, but I never thought that there would be one book that would impact our life and
It should
family.
be required reading
as
for
much.
anybody over the age of 5.
I agree.
Yeah,
Rob,
and
you
I'm
never-
applying everything. Go ahead.
You never said how many years it took you to write the book.
Oh, sorry. So, the book writing started in like 2017, 2018, but not necessarily for an actual book. It started more for, like, my idea was to create a workbook for people who attended Brandon for Beginners.
Okay.
So that was the initial thought process, and we were close. 2018, we had our biggest Brandon for Beginners ever. It was.
And where
we
was
had-
that? Like, just recap that for a minute. Like, where was that at?
So that was at the Durfee Center. Is it called the Durfee
Is that-
Center?
I remember.
I forget the exact
Yeah.
name. I want to say it's
Okay.
called. It's like a school in Detroit.
Oh, yes,
And,
yes. Oh, yeah, I remember. Oh, yes.
You
I
remember
do
that one?
remember that. It did,
We
yes,
had-
I do
we
remember
had
that.
Almost 800 people
Wow.
show up at that
It was
Brandon
a
for
school.
Beginners.
It was a school. Yep.
Yeah.
It was
there-
huge in Detroit.
We had over 1,300 people register for that Brandon for
Yeah.
Beginners. It was a part of Startup Week,
Yeah.
and that's when the light bulbs was like, wait a minute, this is big. This is larger than I am giving it credit for.
Yeah.
And after that one, it was like, okay, we about to take this show on the road. We're about to get a workbook created. Like, we're about to do it bigger than just Detroit. In 2019, the plan was being put in place to make that happen.
So like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, because if COVID didn't happen,
Yeah, then COVID.
Yeah.
2020 was COVID, right?
Right.
Yeah.
If COVID didn't happen, then the book would have been completed, and we probably would have went in a completely different direction. But COVID kind of.
So you
Put a
started
damper.
writing the book in 2018 yourself, or did someone write it for you?
No, I started writing I started writing the workbook, the curriculum that's actually in here.
In-
like, when
in
you
there,
get into the
yeah.
book, you'll find out
Okay.
like it has actual. Yeah, we have actual.
So it wasn't what he's saying wasn't like, okay, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna
And
write
write a
this
book.
book. And
Right.
then he just started and then just started writing. It was like a compilation
Correct.
of everything that Brandon for Beginners have involved
Correct.
throughout the whole process.
Right.
That's a good way to put it. I mean, honestly, the book has morphed from a workbook that would accompany Brandon for Beginner events to what I now believe is it's a culmination of all of like bits and pieces of my journey, of my story. Like, every chapter begins with a real life situation or scenario that connects to the chapter that you're about to read.
Yeah.
Right. So as it opens, it's telling you the story of how I was completely lost. Like, I was a barber. I was, at a point in my life where I didn't know what I wanted to do, and the reality is most people who start businesses don't have a clear-cut vision of exactly, like, everybody wants a starting point and an ending point. It's like, if I can't line up exactly what the path looks like, then I can't start until that happens. And the reality is, like, you just have to go.
Just do it.
But that's
Like, you
the
have
first
to-
one. Just get started.
Just get
Yeah.
started. That's it. And literally, like, the last sentence.
I was gonna say, read us like a little,
I was about to say,
little
like,
bit from the book.
there's a part in here. It's like, I've read this thing so many times, but
Read something for us.
I want to read you like this particular part. So, okay, so I'm gonna read you this last paragraph of the first chapter, or I'm sorry, the introduction. And chapter 1 is just get started, but the introduction is in 2003, I was laid off from a job that I absolutely thought I would retire from. The company gave me all the bells and whistles, from a company vehicle, 401k, benefits, and a very nice salary. I was almost 3 years into this job until this dreadful day in June. After they let me go, I remember being numb for over a month, feeling stuck in the mud. I just wanted to sit in a dark house and never go anywhere. I knew I would never work for anyone again, but the idea of starting a business seemed so overwhelming. I had absolutely no idea where I would start. I tried my hand at several easy jobs, trying to just get by, and during that time, I began to read and read and read some more. Every underlining message in every book implied the same thing. Just get started.
It's so true, but it's not easy to do it. Like, it's
I was
not
going to
easy
say, that's
start.
so much easier said than done.
Yeah.
Because for me, like an analytical person, you guys laugh at me because I'm
You're a
very
C.
analytical.
Did you tell her about this?
No.
I tried to tell her a little bit. I told you about the work exercise.
You did tell me about the work
Me.
exercise, but you didn't
Yeah.
tell me about, no. So, like, me being the analytical person, like, everything has to be blueprint. Like, I have to see the vision, outline the vision, walk the vision, and yes, there's forks in the road, and I deal with them as they come. But for me, like, the just get started is something I think later in life I'm now realizing has to happen.
Yeah.
But it is not easy.
I definitely like that.
Like as a business owner. So for you being where you're at now, you've now published a book. As a business owner, what could be that advice besides just get started that you can get anyone, whether it be me from the corporate world for the last 20 years to a young entrepreneur wanting to just get started? What does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's level of organization and what they need from like a blueprint standpoint is different, and so I'm getting ready to sugarcoat, but I'm not going to sugarcoat. So
Not on this podcast, you're not.
No sugar.
There is no sugarcoating on this podcast.
Here's the reality. If you are attempting to become an entrepreneur and run a business, if you can't just get started, or if you can't do things without them being perfect, it's going to be incredibly hard. Like, it might be a good idea to do something different.
Well, that's
the
Honestly,
truth.
like, that's the facts, right?
Yeah.
So let me say that before I get into like this sugar-coated, like, way, because it's not going to work for you. It's unless you have the ability to go and find money, the ability to find someone that can write you a grant. If you got, you can get a loan, you can get an investor, you can do something that's going to put you financially in a position where you can spend time organizing and putting ducks in a row, then maybe there's a chance that you can create a plan that you can successfully execute.
So we're talking hustle mentality.
If you don't have that, you have to just do it in small steps, right? So you might not be able to, you might be able to organize small things to give yourself a starting point, and once you reach like your first smaller goal, then you set another smaller goal, and then you reach that goal, and then maybe it gets easier and easier once you understand that the process is really in your willingness to not stop. It's not necessarily in like the results that you're getting, and everybody
Or an
measures
outline or a blueprint or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
because
it's-
everybody
yes.
measures everything based on the results.
Right.
And if you're measuring based on the results, like a lot of time you'll end up quitting because the results aren't going to be what you hoped for.
That's so true.
Yeah, and-
That's so true.
I have an example of that because I actually, when I first started in real estate, the person that I worked with was kind of like my mentor. Actually, was my mentor. We actually kind of became partners, but he was so analytical. Everything he needed these systems like put in place, and he was like constantly working on putting these systems in place and doing things a specific way and making sure everything was outlined. And we just started bumping heads because I felt like we were just standing in
Yeah.
one place and we weren't going anywhere. So eventually we did end up branching off, and I ended up actually reconnecting with him about 4 or 5 years later, 6 years later. He was at the same place.
So there was no
And
growth.
I had grown so
So
much.
much.
And when we started back working together, I had all these memories come back to me, and he was still there.
He
Yeah.
must have been so frustrated to like see how
But
much.
he has so much.
Yeah.
He has. I'm not sure where he is now or where he is, whatever. But he has so much potential.
Yeah.
But he couldn't get
and
past.
so much knowledge and knew so much, but he was so stuck on these systems and things being a certain way and all of that. He just stayed in that one
I
place.
can fully understand that. It is
Yeah.
really difficult
Yeah.
when you've been ingrained in, and I'll just say for me, like for corporate America, that everything has to be this certain type of way. And then I remember like saying to Will, like, we would have discussions, but I'd come home and be frustrated with work, and he'd be like, well, just say this. And I'm like, no, that's called like insubordination. I'll get wrote up. You know what I mean? Like, I can't just go say that. But it does get ingrained in you to be in this box. And now I'm learning that the box, like the sides
The lid
can
is
come off. The lid's off.
Do you
the
guys
sides
know
can
about the
come
fleas
off.
in the mason jar?
The what? No.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
that?
The
You
story
said
about the fleas in the mason jar.
I am not aware of that. I might have to look that
Isn't
one
that
up.
a
Yeah,
Steve
this
Harvey
is-
thing? I think I've seen it online.
No,
It's a few different,
You're the
people.
flea in the mason jar.
You don't realize that
I'm
the
the
lid
flea
is
in the
off.
mason
You're
jar?
the flea.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look that one
So
up.
just really quick, I'll break it down.
Okay, because
So
I have never heard this before.
fleas are in a jar, a
Okay.
mason jar, and
Why are you guys laughing?
if they
You're
have a
about to
lid
laugh,
on,
Okay.
if the lid
Okay.
is on the jar,
Okay.
they will keep trying to get out, and they're like bumping their head on the jar because they
Right.
can't get out of the jar.
Yeah.
But then someone can come and take the lid off of the mason jar, but they will still only jump as high as the lid was
Because that's
because
what
they
they're
got so
programmed to.
used to hitting their
Yeah.
head on the mason jar. But guess
All
what?
right. Well,
The lid is off, Nicole.
The lid is gone.
The lid
that
is off.
drink.
No, I would say
It's so true. I've never heard that before, but that's not
Yeah.
gonna like that would be
We
something.
don't have any limits. Like,
Yeah.
you can do what you want.
This is back to energy, right? Like when I was a college basketball player playing for Henry Ford, I had a coach, and this coach, his name was Coach Gary Newstead. He's the best coach I ever had. And he would pound in our minds that we have to bring energy at all times. Now, as an athlete, you hear that, and the only thing that comes to your mind is, I need to run harder. I need to play harder. Like, I need to
Has nothing to do with
exert more effort
Right.
on the court.
It's a physical. It's like it's a
It's
physical.
a physical
yeah.
thing, right?
Right.
Now, all these years later, in my ripe age of 35, I have finally understood
What that means.
what he was trying to say. And this is such a big deal because your energy controls your outlook, and your energy dictates how big you can be, right? So like if I bring $100,000 energy, I'm gonna make $100,000. If I bring $500,000 energy consistently, I can make $500,000.
Right.
Like $1 million energy is so different from $100,000 energy.
Your
Absolutely.
energy matches your
that's
income.
what, that's what
Exactly.
Phil said on the podcast last season. He was talking about how we're like thermostats, and like if we go above our thermostat, we'll kind of just self-sabotage us to go
Correct.
back
To
We're
bring
to
yourself
not
that.
used
back
to
down.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, you
do.
look like you're about to say something.
No,
So
I was
looking
gonna
at
go
you.
back to what you guys are saying about starting to be an entrepreneur, and I would say like for me, what's always worked was just reaching out and asking people to like have conversations. So like I wanted to get into real estate, and I wasn't in real estate yet, so I reached out to a real estate agent that I knew. Hey, can you have a talk with me on the phone? And then I'll have a conversation with her on the phone. Then I'll like meet up with other real estate agents and talk to them and just get advice from everybody, and then find my person that like
Yeah.
can kind of be my mentor, like how
Right.
you had. And then that's just how I've always gotten into new things, is like
Yeah.
finding somebody that did it that can like kind of guide me
And then
You-
do
and you
it.
and
definitely
having those
need
connections.
that in real estate. Like I guess any business you're
Yeah.
getting into, a mentor is important, or just
Yeah.
someone you can
Okay.
follow or look up to.
So we're gonna go back to you. We're talking about mentors. We've all talked about it.
Yeah.
Who's your mentor?
I didn't have a mentor.
Well, you just
It's-
totally squashed every
What
other
made you
conversation
just-
that we were
Yeah, I know.
I don't think everybody needs a mentor. If your mind is right,
I think.
But you agree there's people in your life that hold you to different standards and,
100%.
and levels.
He surround himself with the people he can learn from.
100%. Like, so
They're all mentors.
I didn't have
A specific.
physical mentor. Gary Vee was my mentor. Kobe Bryant was my mentor. Michael Jordan was my mentor. Like, I'm not joking. Like, when Kobe died, like,
You have no idea what my household went through.
like, bro.
Same thing.
You have no idea
Kobe
what
was
my
Still hard to believe.
Kobe,
I know.
exactly. Kobe was my mentor. Like,
You have no idea. Like, our
I felt like
household
Kobe was my
shattered.
brother in real life.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
What did Will ever tell you about a Kobe Bryant pillowcase when we first started dating?
No.
He never told you that. Will was so in love with Kobe Bryant. Like, I actually got him
This might be too much information.
no, he literally, like, Kobe Bryant was his mentor. Like, he believed in everything with Kobe Bryant and that he said, and he followed him. So when the Lakers played the Pistons, one of our, like, when we first started dating, I think it was
2004.
Yeah, like, I got him courtside tickets to when the Lakers played the Pistons here. And then, like, one of his gag gifts was a Kobe Bryant pillowcase. And I'm like, I guess if there's anyone he's going to be in love with more than me, he can have Kobe Bryant.
That's
Like,
funny.
so when I
You had
say,
a
like,
Kobe
our,
Bryant pillowcase.
I don't even know what happened to that. Like, probably when we were moving it, like, it disappeared somewhere.
Was it just like a whole bunch of Kobe's?
No, it was just his face. It was just one face and said his name. And it was like a gag gift, but that's how I gave
Yeah,
him,
I
like,
didn't
the
have
court.
a Kobe Bryant
I'm
pillowcase.
sorry.
But
Maybe I am getting way too deep with this, but I totally understand that because
Yeah,
he
no,
was
he
like
was-
his huge mentor, and it was like a big deal, you know, for us
What
to
is
be.
that?
That's my ring.
Oh, okay.
On my phone. It was a big deal for us to be like courtside and see him, and then like when he did pass away, like it almost
Yeah.
was like a personal
Yeah.
family member.
yeah, I mean, we grew up with Kobe, and
Yeah,
Kobe was
especially our generation.
yeah, he was like the example of discipline,
Yeah.
hard work. You know, like
Yeah.
Kobe, in my opinion, wasn't the most talented NBA player, but he worked so hard that he became the most talented.
Right.
Like his work ethic created his success.
But
And
it wasn't just basketball. It was business. It
everything.
was family.
His
it
approach
was
to everything was the
approach to
same.
everything was always just
Yeah.
passion, like with
Yeah.
everything
What was that
he
movie
did.
that came out recently? Was that who was?
Oh, that
that's
was
Michael
about
Jordan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was my other
Yeah,
mentor.
and it's
That
funny
was
because so on YouTube Kids, our kids watch YouTube Kids, and somehow our son Liam, who's 2, has found Kobe Bryant's, you know that like what is it?
Oh, the cartoon,
the
the
cartoon
child
or
book?
whatever that he like made. Somehow
Yeah.
Liam found that, and we have video. He like watches. It's like an animation. It's not like a full cartoon.
Something basketball. Dear basketball.
Yeah,
Dear
and
basketball.
somehow on YouTube Kids, Liam found that, and I have like probably 3 or 4 videos of Liam watching that. Oh, and he'll watch it, and then he'll go back and hit at 2, go back and
Because
hit.
he loves basketball.
But it's just even just the way it's animated and the voice and everything that comes across is just so
Yeah.
influential. Like to have our 2-year-old sit and watch it over and over again.
I'll tell you when I started to like Kobe, because I'll admit I didn't used to. I feel like it's because I used to. I don't anymore. I used to have this thing that when someone else comes along and they are kind of like trying to take someone's place, that I like I was
Who
a
was he
big
taking?
fan
I
of
was gonna
Jordan.
say,
Like I was a
Michael
big fan of Jordan. Yeah.
so you felt like Kobe was taking Jordan's place?
In a way, like subconsciously, I think. So I think that's why I just
I feel like there
didn't
was
like
so
him
many
for
more
some reason.
before him that would have been in
But-
that category.
Yeah, but anyway, so I watched he had a documentary. Was
Okay.
it called like the what was his name?
Mamba.
Mamba.
What was that? What was the name of the documentary? I can't remember the name of it.
I remember what you're talking
It's
about.
like on the tip of
Yeah, I
my
can't
tongue.
remember
But
it.
anyway,
Like-
The Muse.
the Muse.
Okay,
Yeah.
I haven't
So,
seen that one.
he made this statement that resonated with the way I am so much that instantly I was a Kobe fan. So he said that when he's on the floor, when he's playing basketball, he don't care about anyone else that's playing. That's not his focus. He don't care what this person doing, that person doing. His focus is getting from where he is to the rim. However he's going to get there, he's going to make sure that it's going to happen. That's his focus. And it resonated with me is because I've always been like that in this business. I don't really care what anyone else is doing. It's on me. Like, I feel like I have to do this. I have to do that. Whatever someone else is doing, whatever. That's on you. I'm not trying to compete with anyone. I'm not trying to do any of that. I'm more in competition with myself, trying to make
Holding
sure
yourself accountable, like a personal standard.
and I just, that resonated with me so much. It was like, okay, I'm a fan.
You're
Like,
a Kobe fan.
I don't care about anyone else around. I'm trying to get to this closing table on this deal. Like,
that's a good mindset to have.
So, that's a good segue for a question.
Okay.
From our chat. So Kat wants to know, have you ever had a mentor let you down or not want you to grow above them?
Ooh, that's a good one, Kat. That's a really good one.
I did, but
You
I
did?
was about to say, I just said I don't have any. I mean, I had mentors that weren't physically around me, and they didn't know that I was a mentor or they were a mentor to me, and so I wouldn't.
I think
really
you
be able
had
to have
mentors, but you just didn't realize that they were your mentors.
Like no, like
Even like Kobe and all.
Well,
like
that's what I'm saying. I am recognizing them. I have 5. Like, I can tell Jay-Z, Kobe, Michael Jordan, Gary V, and Tom Brady. Like, those are the 5 people that literally.
Just kidding. I had to do that for my husband.
If someone could find my MySpace page right now.
Good
Those
old
are your top
MySpace.
5?
That's like, no, like there it is. It was all though. Well, Gary V wasn't on there, but it was Kobe, Tom Brady, Jay-Z, and Michael Jordan. Like,
so what about branding? Like, what got you to that point of, this is what I'm going to do? I want to do
Nike
branding.
story?
Okay.
Michael Jordan.
So it's still Michael Jordan.
1987.
You're not talking the movie, right?
No, I'm talking about real life.
We're not
story.
talking the movie because the movie's not
real life.
Okay, because I'm like, let's be real. The movie's not.
This is a real life story for the next book.
Okay.
1987. Wellesley Townhouse is sitting in the living room with a house full of people. All-Star game, dunk contest.
Wait, 1987? So ever since then?
1987, Michael Jordan came on the court in a full jumpsuit from Nike that was not allowed. Like, he was wearing Nike uniform or a Nike tracksuit, and they were paying his fines for wearing this stuff that was not allowed during that time.
Nike was paying his fines?
Nike was paying all his fines.
I don't remember that. We're going to have to look this up.
In the movie, they talked about the shoes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't just the shoes. He showed up in the dunk contest. Now, in the dunk contest, back then, you would just be wearing your regular uniform,
right.
and you do your dunk. Michael Jordan showed up in a full Nike tracksuit and did like his first 2 or 3 dunks in the tracksuit. And the people in that room were making such a big deal out of this because no one had ever, first of all, he's wearing Nike shoes. No one had ever seen that, right? And it wasn't the colors that they were supposed to be. And he got a full jumpsuit on. And I'm just like mesmerized. And then now he's doing all these crazy dunks. I haven't even shot a basketball yet at this point.
Yeah.
I remember this so vivid. Yeah, this was, I was 7. This was so vivid in my mind that from that day on, I fell in love with basketball. Specifically, I fell in love with Jordan.
But what was it about it? Was it the fact that he broke the mold? Was it about the fact that he stood out to do something? Like, what was it in that moment?
In that moment, I was just hypnotized by basketball and Jordan and the shoes. And it wasn't about the brand. It was just about this individual who is larger than the game. Like, you know, I mean, I think that was the magic of Michael Jordan just in general. Like, there was basketball and then there was Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan was the magic that made basketball become what it is. Like, if we just keep it at 100.
Absolutely.
I mean, even like the most respected stars all point to Michael Jordan for taking the game to the level that it's at. And then my parents bought me. My parents went to LA like a year later. They brung me back Jordan. I don't even know if you know this.
I don't remember that.
They brung me back Jordan.
Like have some sibling rivalry.
Like legit, 8 years old, I had like the original ones.
I remember you always had Jordan.
We have a picture. Me and you have a picture in the living room.
Oh, you had
with
the
a
Jordans
button-up
on?
shoe. I have the Jordans on. I have ones. Those are ones.
Okay.
Yeah, we gotta find that picture, Mom. If you watching this,
We need to
the
find this
picture.
Posted at one point on
Yeah,
to
you
find
got.
that
yeah,
picture
my
and
hair
post
was
it
not
up.
She has the picture.
So
for
this
sure.
whole Jordan 1 thing has been like since
He had on
See,
Jordans and my hair was not done at all. Like, my hair was terrible.
This is one day. One day, this is what people will realize, that there's very little that I do that isn't like calculated in
Right.
full circle. Like
But people don't know that yet.
No way.
Like-
Like one day,
Yeah.
one day maybe somebody will recognize the fact that I was 7, 8 years old wearing ones, and now I have a collection of 200, 300, however many I have at that point. And I have over 200 Jordan basketball cards, collector item basketball cards.
You sell basketball cards?
Yes. I have
Are they laminated?
1984 rookie.
Are they in like?
Yes, hard.
You still got that Jordan card?
1984 Olympic Michael Jordan card that's probably worth $6,000-$7,000. Right, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
all of it is my
It all
reason.
came to full circle.
Yeah, and it was branding, but I didn't understand
At the time.
at that time, like like what the thought process was. But it's storytelling.
Yeah.
Like it's just story. Like branding is creating an emotional connection between a product, service, or time period that makes you feel a certain type of way.
It's funny that you say that, because obviously, like, I had my last breast cancer surgery 2 weeks ago, and I looked at William. I think I looked at you at the beginning of this week, and I finally said to him, I'm like, there's a whole other story here. Someone said something to me, made a comment to me, and inboxed me about this journey, and it was that moment that you have that I was like, I have a whole other story here that I have to tell that I haven't even touched base on.
Yeah.
And basically she said to me, like, living a beautiful life after breast cancer. And I was like, wow, like it resonated with me. So like what you said, like you have these stories that Michael Jordan's yours, like from 1987 on. For me, it's what I've gone through, and now at 42, like my chapter's closing. Your chapter's now just beginning. Again, we have another chapter beginning even with your book. So like looking.
Wait, you say your chapter's closing?
Well, with the breast cancer, like I'm not having any more
the
surgeries, like that
it. Yeah,
chapter.
chapter.
But
Yeah,
but the storytelling of
Yeah.
the last 15 years of my life is
Right.
just now, and it really has had me sit back and think, like, wow, like we really do all have stories to tell.
And it will all come full
circle.
Like you will
Yeah.
get at some point an understanding of why that happened in your life and what came from it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I can't remember what it's one of the laws of the universe, but it's cause and is it? Cause and reaction.
Cause and effect. Or
Cause and effect. It's basically the same thing. Everything has like a cause and an effect
Right.
throughout our entire life. It's like one thing happens which causes this to happen, and then if you didn't do this, then that wouldn't have happened, and that happened because you did that.
Right.
And everything comes together full circle.
It really does, and
Yeah.
I don't think we actually understand until you're in that moment.
Yeah.
So like this book being back from.
He's already got a
I know.
spot.
Yeah, you ready?
He
Over
wants
the
to
next topic. No, but I'm
Go
saying
ahead.
even this book being back from, you know, what did you say? The third branding for beginners is when it really took. Well, what year was
2018.
2018.
For, Durfee Center or
it?
whatever.
Yeah,
One of
to,
the best.
to now
The
coming
biggest one.
full circle to actually having a published book. Available on Amazon if you want to throw that punchline in there really quick.
Yeah, you mean as far as people can buy it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, for sure.
it's on
People-
Amazon. Is that the only platform it can be purchased?
No, it's on a lot of different platforms.
Okay.
Amazon is the easiest platform for people to go and purchase it. And it's super easy to look it up. You just go branding, use the number 4 beginners, and then you can put in Robert Courtney and it'll pop right up in Amazon. But again, like the energy thing, like I'm
Yeah.
gonna keep stressing this because even like what you're talking about as far as like laws of the universe, and people don't realize the power of their story, and very few people leverage the power of their story to impact their revenue, to impact their happiness, to impact, like, you are literally the creator of your own story.
Yeah.
Right? Like if we think about it from, let's just say we're about to do a film, like a feature film on one of us, and someone is about to tell your story, right? Like in our minds and like the people's minds, like, wow, like they have a feature, like a movie that's about to be told about them. What is your movie going to talk about?
Some people don't know though. They're like, I don't really have a story. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like
Everyone has a story.
downplays their
What their story could be.
until you get to a point to where you went through some surgeries.
Yeah.
Or till you get to a point where you've overcome these things that now you have made, like they're important enough to make your story worthy. Right? Like
But it doesn't even have to be major events, though. It doesn't have to be anything major.
This is what I'm trying to say. At 7,
Yeah.
these were important events.
that you realize later.
Correct.
Now looking back.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like,
back.
and everything's like something super simple. Something super simple. Jay-Z, one of my imaginary mentors in my own mind,
Your
who I
best friend.
follow came out with a song or album called 444. Right? Like, no big deal. Album 444. This album, me and Ashley was not a Jay-Z fan for real. Like, she liked them because I liked them, but she didn't really like 444 for whatever reason. Like, she loved this album. Like, this album was like her favorite Jay-Z album. Well, I don't even know if I've ever told this story.
I have to tell you something when you get through with this.
Okay. So 444 come out, whatever. I don't think much of it. Like it's no big deal. She like it. I love the album. Fast forward to now. Literally every day. Like, I can go on my phone right now and show you probably 50, 60 screenshots over the last 3 months of me singing 444. Like, I see 444 so
All the
much.
time.
It's absolutely bananas. And to the point to where I'm like, I'm not using the word for. Like,
Yeah.
Did you
I have
read?
to use the number.
Which is crazy
Oh.
because she actually passed on the 4th, too.
And guess what? This is what I was going to tell you.
Did you read what 444 means though?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Yeah.
An angel.
Yeah.
An angel.
She's trying to give you a message. That's
But-
basically
Angel
what it
number.
is.
But I know there's multiple angel numbers though, because there's like 333, 444.
Yeah.
But don't they all have like specific?
Meanings to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what the
I
specific?
don't know, but that's
No,
what I'm wondering.
444 means that she's, well, I won't say she, but someone is trying to give you a message. An angel,
what-
basically angel
Yeah.
message.
Yeah, sending you a message.
But this is what I was going to tell you. Did you know, not did you guys know, but did you know that your life path number is 4?
Say what?
Wait, like his specific
His life path number
So
is 4.
What's that mean?
Bring us full circle on this. What does that mean?
Your life path number is when you add up the numbers for your birthday, and it's the complete birthday. Like, my life path number is 5, so I would add up 8, 13, 19, 82. It comes to 41, and then 4 plus 1 is 5.
Okay.
So if you add up
shit.
your birthday, because I did this like a long time
Let me
ago.
check mine.
Can you do?
It is
11.
4.
Shut up.
Is your life path number.
That's
Your life path
I'm
number
not-
4, and life path numbers.
Right.
You guys will be amazed if you look up your life path number and look up the traits and the qualities. And
Mine's 14.
so 5. So we're both 5.
So-
No,
So if it's 14, you add 1 plus 4.
Yes. Yeah.
No.
You get it down to
Okay,
a
do
single
your.
number.
It has to be a
Okay.
single number. So what's
January
your?
plus 16 plus 1995 equals that. So wouldn't it be 12 plus 2?
Yeah, so it'll be 14, and 1 plus 4 is 5.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So yours is 5.
Oh.
Okay, well you have a calculator, so
Oh,
I
okay,
just
yeah.
want to know mine.
Look
real
up the
quick.
traits of the life path number 5. You'll see like that we're
11,
very
25,
similar.
1981.
Wait, 11,
11
plus 5 plus
No, 25.
11 plus 25 plus
I've never 1981. So what would that be?
19.
1. 2 plus 19. Oh,
So why
2 plus
y'all,
1 is 3.
look
I
at
think you guys are doing it wrong.
Is it the whole
1.
year you're born, or is it?
It's 1.
We'll have to go
It's
back.
1?
Yeah, because 10.
We'll have
1
to go
plus
back
0
and
is
look at that.
1.
Where do you get 1
2
plus
plus 1, 2 plus
So it
1
says
is 3, 3 plus 7 is
2017.
10, that's 1. Or you could say 17 plus 2 is 19,
I
9
wasn't
plus
doing
1
that.
is 10.
Okay,
so it's
now
1.
I see what you're saying.
So
You get
you're
it
going
down
to
to a
have to
single
look it up.
number.
So what were you going to say, Will? Like what?
Oh, I was just gonna read the meaning of the 444.
Okay, go ahead.
And do life path number 4.
Wait,
And like-
I'm gonna do that right now. I got that one.
Okay,
So the
meaning of
the meaning of
444.
444. The number 444, angel number, love meaning aligns with the original meaning. You are where you're meant to be. As of for the 44,
It's like a constant reminder
that you're where
you're where you
supposed
need to be.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I did read that before.
Oh shit.
Okay, the life path number 4 is associated with people who are practical, sensible, and rational by nature.
Love that.
Irrational or rational?
Rational.
Yep. Makes
I would say that.
Let's see 5. What's mine?
You're like, well, now we're in a whole new life numbers. We need to figure out because I've never even heard of life numbers. Like I didn't.
Well, that's your life path
did you,
number.
Your life path. So did you always know his life path number was 4? Or how did you figure that out?
Because I don't watch TV, so I do a lot of like research and different things. And so when I started learning about life path numbers and I saw how like dead and spot on it is to how people are, I started doing that like with people in my family or like my friends that I know. And so then that's when I did.
You always-
I think I do that with my siblings.
And I just
I
wanted
know.
to see if it would be spot on with you.
Yeah,
and if
no,
you
that
look
number-
it up, it
And
is.
go
Number
figure.
four,
It's
yeah,
number
number
That's
four
kind of like the
is-
number 8 with us, though. All of our kids were born on the 8th of the month, except for Zoe, who was born on the 4th. But that's half of 8. We were married on the 8th of 18. So like the number 8 is like huge within.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
8 means money. So
that's good.
even like
And isn't
people,
it eternal? I mean,
That's good
shoot,
news.
I'll take that. But isn't it like it's eternal too? Like the number 8 is
Yeah.
also like, yeah. So, but I didn't even realize how much the number 8 was like huge within our relationship.
do you know anybody born on the 28th?
Yeah,
No,
I do.
I'm trying to think.
Are they
Oh my
very
God.
well off?
28th.
They say people that are born on the 28th.
Not yet, but maybe eventually.
Yeah, I don't know anyone born in the
So,
28th.
Rob, do you plan on writing another book?
Absolutely. So this is the reason this book is so important is because it's like getting your first client. It's like doing your first real estate deal. You know, it's like it's
That
the
high.
it's the unlock to what you're capable of, and that's all this book says.
Yeah.
It just says you are capable of starting a book, finishing it, publishing it, and like this is what we've done so far is like literally just like we haven't even done anything.
Beginning.
There is a book tour coming,
I was
a
going to
10
ask
city
you about
book
that.
tour.
Like, what is that about?
There is a the book tour
Or you
is
dive into that for a minute.
yeah. So the book tour will probably start in January. We have several corporate companies that want to get involved. That's going to back the tour.
We'll be doing live podcasts from the book tours.
Absolutely, you're absolutely welcome.
For my birthday
the
is in
10
January.
cities? Do you know yet?
We'll be
Yeah,
doing some
yeah.
live podcasts.
So we're working with the book with the book agent and their distribution for like stores that they already have connections with. So I think I know the cities off the top of my head. We have Austin, Chicago, Atlanta,
Major cities.
LA,
Okay.
Las Vegas. We're going to Canada, so like Windsor.
Okay.
Toronto. I don't know if it's gonna be Toronto or Windsor. I think Toronto. Miami, but maybe not Miami, but like surrounding,
Like
maybe
Florida,
a
suburb,
city,
Lauderdale.
a city around Miami. So it's like that's like 6 or 7. So like it's
So we're talking major cities.
yeah,
like
yeah,
we're talking big
yeah.
cities.
No, we're like this is, and then we're aligning because this story gets into the story of unique. Like you can't understand my life trajectory and why I understand branding so well without understanding the unique story and why I even decided to start RCA in the first place. So that's what this book kind of gives you, a little backstory of our unique journey. And so the stops that we'll make, will do a fashion show, maybe we'll do some
So
like
an entire
Oh, yeah,
event.
that'd be
That'd be
cool.
nice.
there
That'd
will
be dope.
be a collaborative effort between Unique Collection and RCA.
Okay.
And we'll we'll spend probably a day or two in each city, and then each city will include like a book signing. It will include a branding for beginners workshop
An actual
slash
session?
seminar.
I like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
It'll have like a actual event that'll happen. You know, like either a party or some type of mixer or something like that.
Okay.
And then we're trying to work with Capital One to do some type of collaboration around like just small business. So there's there's a lot of things in the works, but
In the works.
yeah. Like,
Do
it's
we have
gonna
any
be a
other
whole
questions or
rollout.
anything else you want to throw out? Anything?
No, just
No?
likes. and
Just
support.
likes, support?
Yeah, I say you told us about a lot of things coming in the future, like the book tour, wanting to write another book. But other than that, is there anything else we can look forward to? Like, what's next for Rob?
Book related or non-book related?
Just anything, business related,
Well,
personal
Or
related.
in general? Yeah.
there's so much. Wow.
I don't think
One
we put a cap on that. We're
specific
talking about fleas and a jar.
I know, there's so much.
What specific thing you're excited for? Maybe like personal or business.
Okay, so I'm super excited for the next Creator Con.
Oh yeah.
That's
However,
November. Is that November? November.
It was planned for November 15th. But this is the first time I'm going on record and saying that RCA just landed a huge event contract for the city of Detroit.
Oh,
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yay.
So this event is so big and it's such a huge opportunity for more things to come down the pipeline that I'm tempted to push CreatorCon, because CreatorCon is our baby. Like, CreatorCon is like the next level of branding for beginners, right? Like, it's something that we're growing internally, and we want to make it an event
Wait,
to
I think
help.
that camera just went off.
It-
It did,
Like, battery dead, probably.
probably.
Okay.
Give me
Do
one
you have more
second.
batteries?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Okay. We'll be
Put
back
it on hold.
after this commercial
I know,
break.
we have a little commercial break.
You
right
should have
here.
had your
Okay, back to CreatorCon.
Okay, so yeah, so we were talking about CreatorCon
Yeah.
and that you just landed a huge contract with the city of Detroit. You
Yeah.
want to touch base a little bit and give us a little snippet about what that could possibly be?
So the city of Detroit is doing a big event. I can't get into like the actual details, but I can tell you it will be an event that will really help small businesses, and it will
Awesome.
provide tons of resources, TA, and something the city can really benefit from.
Very
And
cool. So, you're thinking about pushing CreatorCon to when? Like, is there an idea of
no,
when?
nothing's official at the
Okay.
moment. After we have our next meeting, we'll be able to really like get an idea of what the scope is, and then based on the workload and the bandwidth that this event requires, it's just CreatorCon. I don't want to shortchange CreatorCon because we're putting so much energy. The contracted event has to go incredible. Like, we can't half do that.
Right.
And so I don't want to half do CreatorCon because we're trying to make sure that event is perfect.
Yeah.
Do you
So-
know when that Detroit event's gonna be?
Yeah, it'll be spring, summer of 2024.
Can anybody come, or is it
It'll be for like specifically for small businesses.
okay?
Nice. Very cool.
Awesome, that's exciting.
Yeah.
But you'll be there if that's what you're asking.
Well, no, I meant if people are watching this and they wanted to come and they're
Oh yeah, if you're a small business owner and you're someone that needs resources, it'll be like you'll definitely benefit from it, but it won't be like open to general public.
General
like,
public.
that's what I meant.
Okay.
So, all right. So it's been awesome talking about this book, and
Yeah.
do you guys have anything else
That's it.
as we wrap it up?
I was going to mention in the beginning you had we were like congratulating you on the book, and you said you still don't kind of know how to take congratulations.
Yeah.
But something I've learned actually from the 4 agreements is you should take that congratulation, because
No,
when you don't,
I
it's like
am.
you're making that agreement when you don't want to kind of like take
Yeah,
it.
something.
So, yeah.
That's what I mean. I think what I was saying was I am accepting
Okay.
all the congratulations
Yeah.
for this book.
this.
Definitely take it. Take that all in.
And I think like when people congratulate me, I never want to be too high or too low. Like this is, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong. Like I feel like this is my energy for where I am at this moment, right? And I feel like this energy has to change. If I want next level energy, I have to.
You need $1 million energy.
Yeah, I need $50 million
take
energy.
the
I need
energy out.
$100 million energy.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm saying that to say, like, I have to shake things up. Like I have to, evolve into a different space. But to this point, my energy has been very even keel. It's like I'm not gonna get too excited. I'm not gonna get sad. I'm going to be right in the middle. So that means if I get too emotional about something that I accomplish and I get excited, then on the flip side, when something don't go my way, now it brings me down, right? And so I don't want that. Like I want to be...
No expectations, no disappointments.
Correct.
So the good thing is you broke that agreement of staying that level.
We're excited
you
about
just
this.
said that you want to amp it up a bit. So you will, because you broke that agreement.
But this is also something that I'm very, very passionate about at this moment, and it's something that Tony Robbins is a big. He's very passionate about it. Also in his talks, where he speaks about like seasons and like where patterns. You are and patterns, right? And so, what I've come to realize is that a lot of times when you're winning or having success or something's going well, we unintentionally create this idea in our mind that something's going great, then that means like something bad is coming.
It's gonna happen.
Right? So like
waiting for the ball to drop.
We're bracing, but we are creating that bad thing. Like we're basically manifesting a bad thing to come. And so now it's like
Yeah.
I am riding the wave for absolutely
$50 million energy.
Yes.
$500 million
for as long as because that's really what it is.
Yeah.
Like, yes, the season will end at some point, but I am going to ride my season until the wheels fall off. And then when the season ends, I'm gonna be in a great spot because now it's you go
soaking it all in.
Well, like he breaks it down like actual seasons, like summer is like you're rolling, you're making money, like you're closing deals, everything is going good, and then like winter is like nothing's happening. But because you went so hard in the summer, you're good. It don't matter.
But it's funny though because that could be a perspective based because in the winter for a snowboarder it could be like the best season ever.
Exactly.
So like it really could be perception because
he's using it as more of like an analogy for you to understand that you're going to hit different
seasons. Right. So that's true. So like a summer could be a downtime for someone else who flies in the winter.
Look at it differently.
So taking one excerpt from the book. Excerpt from the book. If there's anything that really stands out in this book for you or anything within the chapters or content that you have, what would be the one thing signing off right now that you would say has really, like, there's one piece of this book that you're like, this is it. Like, this is impactful. This is, I need people to know this part of this book.
I think there's a few things, but one thing that I haven't talked about, which I need to create some content around, is people don't realize that this book includes an entire workshop at the end where you can go through and you can answer these questions to help you build your foundation for your brand. And I think there's a lot of great books, but I think the combination of a good story with educational and valuable content,
accountability workbook,
but then also has the accountability and the exercises for you to go through at the end for you to be able to then use that to kind of give yourself a foundation. I think it's something that's unique about this book. And I guess from like an excerpt standpoint, I think the fact that I started from behind scratch, like in the back it says Robert Courtney is the definition of starting from scratch. Like I'm everybody else, you know, like I'm just like the person out there right now that wants to start a business and is saying to themselves, I don't have money for gas.
Yeah.
I can't pay my bills right now. Like, I don't know where my next income is coming from, yet I have this vision and this really big idea of starting a company and building a brand. You know, and like how do I do that? Just get started.
Just get started.
Just start.
Chapter one.
Just start. Trust the process.
Started.
Start and trust the process.
Right. Well, we really appreciate you being on the podcast again.
Yes.
And it's so good to have you back on the podcast.
I'm very happy to be
Nicole.
back. It feels good to be back.
We were holding it
Yeah.
down last week.
know.
This is officially episode 1, technically, right?
Officially episode 2.
Hello.
Because you guys did one last
they
week.
held
Right.
it down while I was out last week.
My bad.
The
Episode 2.
first episode was in
It's
slow mo.
It's up, right? Oh,
The actual first episode
the
was in
actual
slow
first
mo.
episode, yeah.
So, but yeah, so stay tuned. We got lots of new guests coming on the podcast.
Possible
this
after hours,
season.
some stuff going on after hours that we may be showing you guys. What happens when the microphones and camera goes off?
RPR after
Maybe.
dark.
RPR after dark.
So
That's
stay
coming
tuned
up.
to the end of the videos because you might be able to see some people karaokeing or something.
Yeah.
There you go.
Rob, not anyone else.
All right, guys.
Ho.
We'll see you next week.
All
Yes.
right.
Have a great one. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Go get my book.
Yeah, go get the bucket.
Brandon for beginners.